I'm backing up my truck, I'm gonna hook it up, loading up my boat with all my gear. I've been working hard all week, trying to make ends meet, spending time wishing I was fishing. Well, Terry Wickstrom wants to take you fishing. Gather up your gear and come along. Well, Terry Wickstrom wants to take you fishing.
This is Terry Wickstrom. Join Karen Cullum, Greg Claggio, and me as we take you to some of our favorite fishing spots from Colorado to Minnesota, the Arctic Circle to Central America and beyond. As we revisit episodes of Mountain States Fishing and Angling Adventures Television on the best of fishing with Terry Wickstrom. We're out here today on John Martin Reservoir. I'm with Donnie Cox. Donnie?
Terry?
We're laughing because we give each other such a hard time. Donnie and I go way back. We work a lot of sports shows together, and Donnie's a great bass fisherman. In 1996, Donnie qualified for the Bassmaster Classic, which is the ultimate goal for bass fishermen. We're going to go out and try to show you that there is some good bass fishing in the Mountain States areas like Colorado, and show you how to catch them. Should we get to it?
I hope so.
Let's get in the boat. Let's get going. I've switched over to a spinnerbait, and Donnie's still working topwater type lures, and we're covering back through an area that we covered just a little while ago, and we're going to go through it again and see if we can't pull up an active fish out of it.
There's got to be an active fish in here. I never give up.
Well, if we don't get anything on these more active presentations, what kind of presentation you suggest we go to after that?
Probably just slow rolling some spinner baits off the edges. We're going to see a lot of different cover today that fish relate to, and this is really good cover that fish relate to.
Yeah, if I can get you to look over here, you'll see these bushes and things we're throwing the lure into. And if you'll notice how the stick-ups and the bushes are in there and there's a lot of spaces in between, one of the things you also got to be aware of is that you don't see every bush that's out here. There's a lot of grass and bushes and cover that are underneath the water. So when we're throwing out here, we're not only throwing right up to the bushes we see, but we're running this through and up against other little bushes and stick-ups and grass beds that we don't see.
Exactly.
Why don't you tell people a little bit about what it was like to qualify and go fish the Bassmaster Classic?
Well, Terry, I qualified through the state tournaments, which is our Colorado Bass Federation. Went on to fish what they call the Western Divisionals, which they bring the top 12 anglers from each state in the Western United States. We fish one designated area and everybody meets there. You got to finish top angler in your state, and then you go on to what they call the Bassmasters Nationals. And there you're fishing against the top, I should say, the top 50 Federation anglers in the world, including areas like Zimbabwe, parts of Africa, Japan, and in that tournament you got to finish top angler in your division. So from there on, if you end up top angler in your division, you've qualified for the Bassmasters Classic, and they open 5 positions up for Federation anglers.
Well, there's only 42 anglers every year that qualify for the Bassmaster Classic total, right?
Correct.
And 37 of those come out of the professional ranks qualifying through the tournament trail, and the other 5 come from the Wrangler angler like you did. And it's it's the Super Bowl of bass fishing. What must have been going through your mind when you qualified for that? I mean, that had to be just
It is absolutely amazing what does go through a person's mind when you're at a tournament like that. It's incredible. The camaraderie, seeing all your heroes in one spot.
Got him?
No. That was a slow. It's hard to talk and fish sometimes.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But just seeing all your heroes, and then you think about it. Now you're fishing with them. Then you're not fishing against them. You're really fishing with them. But the money, the prize, everything else involved into that tournament, it's incredible. Wining and dining, and I don't know what else. I mean, just
well, it's
they
a
keep
great
you going.
it's a great accomplishment too. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have fished on the pro circuit for a lot of years that have never qualified for the Bassmaster Classic.
That's true. I mean,
It's just, you know, it's the pinnacle of bass fishing, and you need to be proud, and you know, and the state needs to be proud that somebody from Colorado qualified for that.
well, I hope they are.
Yeah, well,
I really enjoyed it.
I think it's great. Well, I'm gonna get up here and start fishing some more. To heck with this stuff. But. Well, I tell you what, you couldn't have had a more beautiful day to be out fishing.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, it's tremendous.
Nice little ripple. You know, it's nice to have a ripple like this and throw spinner baits because it kind of more imitates the shad darting out of the bushes.
Oh yeah, and you know, the little break in the light level just gives you that little extra edge.
Exactly.
Where they can't look it over quite as well. But it's just a light breeze, the sun is shining. Beautiful day. Beautiful September day with a little twig pulling on my spinnerbait. It sure felt good to have something pull. Boy, this, I'll tell you, John Martin is easily the premier fishery in this state right now. We've got tremendous sockeye fishing here, which you've seen on some previous shows. Great crappie fishing, catfish. The wipers are over 20 pounds, and it's not uncommon to catch 5 and 6 pounders.
No, it's not.
And the largemouth bass, from what you tell me, is just excellent. I haven't really fished them down here yet.
It's a great fishery for largemouth. And of course now, can't forget there is a few smallmouth in this lake.
Is there really? I didn't know that.
There really is, and you know, I've caught several of them fishing some rocky points, and usually you want to downsize with those.
Right.
But yeah, I've actually landed a few smallies that are, I guess they're 8-10 inches. They haven't really come full bore yet.
Well, the last few years with the water levels coming up out here, we've sure gained, these fisheries out on the eastern prairie have just come to life again. I mean, there was a dry period during the 80s where a lot of these lakes were very, very low, but now they're at full pool. This must be 13,000 acres. I think it's 13,000 acres or up in that area anyway, and making it the largest lake in Colorado, and it's just a tremendous fishery. It's worth the drive to come out and spend some time fishing here. Yeah.
There he is, Terry.
Oh, nice fish, nice fish. Need some help?
I like it when you're down.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that, grabbing the line. Thank you, Terry. Now on spinnerbait.
Well,
You know,
you're doing okay.
you know, what it was doing was running it up on that shore. Whew, gonna have to do some tuning.
These fish sure are fat and healthy, aren't they? I mean, this isn't nearly as big as some of the others, but it's just a nice, healthy, thick-shouldered fish.
Got some backbone to him.
We'll get him back in the water.
All right.
Well, we've been working outside points and brush areas with faster acting lures like crankbaits and spinnerbaits and some topwater action. And it's been a little slow, so we're moving down the lake a little bit, and we're going to try a few different things and a few different tactics. What do you got in mind, Donnie?
Oh, I'm not giving up on the spinnerbait yet, Terry. We're going to get back under here where there's a lot of brush and elongated points. There's one particular area back here that 2 points come out and form kind of like a bowl in the middle.
Okay.
And they're really well known to either be on top or be underneath. And if they're on top, we'll get them to hit crankbaits and spinnerbaits. If they're in the bowl, we might have to resort to a good Carolina rigged worm.
Okay.
So
Sounds
that's
good.
what I'm hoping for.
Well, we'll find them.
All right.
You know, Donnie, we were talking earlier about the traditional concept is people think that when you're fishing mountain lakes, you have to downsize your lures, use more finesse tactics than you would in the traditional bass lakes of the South and maybe California, those places. You think that's different. You take a different approach to that.
I really do. The biggest thing is how you present the lure. And presenting a lure in these lakes, even though they're clear lakes, and sometimes, I mean, not every lake in the United States is not clear. They say our mountain lakes are real clear. They're not always clear, but it's also in how you present that lure. We were talking about dragging the lure over a log, stopping it, retrieving it, yo-yoing it back.
This is a good spinnerbait water in here, these little stick-ups that you can work it through.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Try to hit every one of them you can.
I know, just bounce
And
it
there's
off.
a lot of them, you know, just like where you threw just right there.
Under the water.
Right.
And you'll work it through slow and let it bounce off of those. And you know, I think most bass fishing lures, people's biggest tendency is to work them too fast.
Well, sometimes they work better faster, but the kind of conditions we got now with the front moving in, it's not bad to slow it down a little bit.
No, well, you've got to try. You've got to vary your speed, try different approaches. There.
Got him in the brush?
Yeah, he's wrapped around, but he's coming up. I don't think he's real big.
That was giving you a good tug.
Oh yeah, that's a nice, they're healthy fish, aren't they?
Oh, look at that. Nice football.
They are so healthy.
Brought the brush with him.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
Nice fish, Terry.
Oh, we got to catch him twice. Let me get a good hold of him this time.
You got him?
Yeah, I got him. Well, it's not a monster, but nice little spinnerbait fish. Working it through that brush like we said. He wrapped it around there good. It's a good thing he didn't, well, here's a good example. It's a good thing he wrapped it around a small twig. We were able to break it off, because if that would have been a big stick, he'd still be there. Not a monster, but a nice, good, healthy bass, big shoulders on him. Let's get him back in the water and get some more. There we go. People need to learn to do this. I mean, learn to cast underhand and pitch it out there. You don't have to be an expert, but at least practice a little bit so you can, because accuracy is a lot more critical than distance here.
Ooh. Check this out, Terry.
There you go. Oh, looks like a good fish. Can you handle that by yourself? Whoa, nice, nice fish. Nice fish.
I'm gonna swing him.
You can swing him up?
Yeah.
I'll lip him, I'll lip him.
Oh,
Get it.
going around.
All right,
Oh, here's coming back.
I'll lip him for you. We don't want to lose him. There we go. Oh, nice fish, nice fish.
Can I hold him?
Well, yeah, you can take the hook out of him too. What's a nice bass.
Oh, he was hooked good.
There's no bass fishing in Colorado.
No.
I wouldn't even bother. Don't ever go bass fishing in Colorado, because the odds that you'll catch a fish, there just aren't any.
Boy, isn't that nice?
That's beautiful. Tell you what, we're gonna need to get him back in the water, but why don't you go look at these messages? When you get back, maybe we'll have a few more like this. There we go. Well, we thought what we'd do now is we're going to take a little time and show you some of the tackle that we use to bass fish in John Martin Reservoir, and virtually any place you bass fish.
That's for sure. The lures we use today are very versatile lures.
Yeah, and since bass fishing doesn't get maybe as much play in this area, we're going to go through in detail a little bit about some of the lures we've used. We started out a lot today. We've been through a lot of hardware. This is spinnerbait. And how do you choose what spinnerbait you're going to throw? What's the criteria you use? Really,
the biggest criteria I use is the size of the blades versus the forage in the lake, like the size of the shad. Sometimes I'll throw a bigger blade, as you're showing there, depending on color of waters when I go to the gold or if I use a silver. Okay, this was about the size of all the shad that were out on the lake today.
Okay.
And that's why we've done so good with this particular style spinnerbait.
I like, and I do similar. I choose from the style like that. Also, you'll find that there's different shapes of blade. We don't have a Colorado blade like this little one here. You can get a big one back here, and that'll tend to thump a little more. It'll make it rise up a little more.
It's a good one for free falling down.
Exactly, and the willow leaf type blade here.
Well, the kind of cover we were fishing today, if we didn't have that willow leaf on there, we'd have been hung up a lot more The willow leaf going through the water cuts through the trees a lot easier, and the grass that we were fishing.
Yeah, it's a much tighter spin.
Exactly.
More flash, less vibration, less lift.
Oh, with that new blade, you get a lot more vibration now from Berkeley.
Okay, that's right, because of the on the back. Those are some spinner baits. This is, you know, they come in various sizes. Do you recommend any particular size that you throw more than others?
I usually throw 3/8 is the most versatile spinner bait they make on the market, and that's probably the one I'd say if you're going to buy spinner baits, buy a 3/8 ounce. That'll get you around a lot more.
And what'd you do? You'd buy maybe some 3/8 with some willow leaf of Colorado, a couple different colors, and then, you know, as far as the skirts, what I've done lately is I'm just keeping extra skirts and changing them out.
Right.
But as far as colors, what colors do you recommend?
White, all chartreuse, and chartreuse and white are probably the 3 colors I'd highly suggest. They're always somewhere on the lake they're going to be hitting it.
Good. Let's take a look at some of the other lures we've got here. Today was a tough fishing day, and most of the big fish today came on plastic worms.
Exactly. The old favorite worm.
And what we're going to do now is I want to show you, first I'm going to show you a couple different worms. This is a 7-inch Berkeley swimming tail worm. This is a 10-inch. Now I originally started getting some bites earlier today on this particular model. Wasn't able to get a hook in them, unfortunately, but it gave us the key that maybe these colors or this type of worm was something that was going to work.
Exactly.
So then we went to a couple different worms. This is one that's hand poured.
Right, it's called a zipper worm by Old Pro Custom Baits.
Okay, and this is a 10-inch Berkeley power, and we actually shortened this one down. We broke a piece off, so it ended up being a very similar profile.
Exactly, but real thick.
And we wanted some bulk, and we weren't casting these out long distances. We flipped these right, and we're just 10 or 15, 20 feet from the brush, flipping these in, letting them fall, and just wiggling them. And one of the keys is how you rig these. Why don't you show them how you rig this and how we call pegging the sinker and rigging it up.
One of the tricks is getting a rubber band, running the line through the weight, pulling the back line through.
Give them a good close-up of this here.
So that you have the line going through the back of the weight, hook a rubber band on the back and simply pull it back through the weight until you get it to pop out and then trim it. When we have it like this, what I like to do is take that weight and I'll wrap it around the rubber band around my finger and then feed the line through until I get it like this. And then I'll let it go. Okay, so it's not moving on us. Now you want to trim it back, pull it down to the eye, and if you'll do me the honor, sir, I like to pull it, cut it back, and then it's a nicely rigged weight.
And I think we should tell them the reason for this is called pegging. The old days they used to do this with toothpicks, and it would actually fray the line. But there's times when you want that slip sinker to slide on here when you're fishing plastic worms in more subtle open situations.
Right.
But when you're pitching into heavy cover, you want to be able to push it down against the worm and hold it there, because if that's over here and say that the worm's here and this falls around a twig, you can get tangled up real easy. When it's pegged against that worm, you're able to work it through the cover a lot better.
Right. Here's that knot I was going to show you too. Simply make a loop, push it through the eye of the hook.
So you've got it doubled through there now.
Right. Simply going to tie an overhand knot, and I just take that tab end and go through there.
Okay, you start out almost like a Palomar, but then instead of going through there, you go through that tag end.
It's a lot quicker. I found that it's just as strong.
Well, you don't have to pass the lure through it, so if you have a long lure with a lot of treble hooks, passing that loop over like you would a Palomar, so that's an excellent knot.
Exactly. We'll trim that down. Okay. And what we're doing is simply Texas rigging these, going into the head and coming out about a ½ inch below. Then I'll pull it down and I'll twist the hook coming through to where I bury the eye of the hook into the worm. And I'm going to simply come up, buckle the worm a little bit, and you'll see it pokes through a little bit, and what I do is I like to pinch it and bury it back in. The important thing about fishing a worm is how straight it hangs.
Right, and now you've got this straight presentation that's completely weedless that you can pull through there, pull through the brush. We've got that peg sinker that won't slide, push right down against it. Now we can flip that down into the brush and work it through right in the sticks and the trees and stuff. And it's just a great way to fish. It's an exciting way to fish.
It is exciting.
You're going to get bites that are 20 feet away from you, and you're liable to get an awfully big fish. This is really a big fish technique.
It is.
I've caught more big fish on these short line techniques flipping probably than almost any other method of bass fishing that I've done.
But do you know the scenario behind that?
What's that?
You miss them, it's going to come at you real quick.
Oh yeah, well, and I missed a few today. Yeah, you'll see that you set the hook, and if it comes out, the lure's flying at you. Well, I tell you what, we've shown to people some of the things we've used. I hope you picked up a little knowledge that you can apply to your bass fishing. Let's get back out and do some more fishing.
Okay.
I tell you what, you know, this is my favorite way to fish.
Flipping worms?
Oh, worm fishing in general, you're in such contact with what's going on. You get a strike on that short line, the fish is right there, it's just immediate.
You just get a bite?
Not that time. There's one going.
You got one going there?
Here we go, here we go. There!
Bring him in, bring him in.
Oh, that wasn't much of a fight, he was so close to the surface. Nice fish though. Well, we've caught some nice fish today. You know, Don, you've reacquainted my love with bass fishing. Let's get him back.
Oh, yeah.
You know, sir, I want to thank you for taking me out today, sharing some of your expertise. I mean, truly, you're one of the better bass fishermen in the state. You proved that over the last couple years. I love bass fishing. I learned a few things today, like I do from every guest I'm with, and I had a really great time. I hope you had a good time.
Had a great time.
Yeah, you had a great time. You had a great time because you love to tease me. Donnie and I are friends. We go way back. But you know what? We had a great time fishing today, and you can have a great time bass fishing in the Mountain States. So get out and enjoy it, and join us next week on Mountain States Fishing Adventures.